Happy birthday, America, 248th year.
Wow, you old.
Happy Independence Day. Woo! That was loud.
Happy birthday, America. It is the 4th of July. That is when we declared our independence from Great Britain. And now here we are all those centuries later, and we're still wearing these funny clothes.
Yes. Actually, 2 days before 4th of July, John Adams actually wrote to his wife, Abigail Adams, saying that I am foreseeing this to be the most celebrated day in American history for years and years and years and years to come. And he was right.
Now, random fact, how would they celebrate the 4th of July in the 18th century and even the early 19th century? You know, it actually used to be one of the biggest holidays in the United States. The two biggest holidays were the 4th of July and Easter. And now I think it's, what we say, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'd say. But back then, it was 4th of July and it was Easter. So they would celebrate it with fireworks, and family would get together. They would drink, and they would barbecue.
Oh yeah, barbecue.
Hold on a second, that's exactly what we do today. It hasn't changed at all, and they would also get together and shoot off guns.
Shoot guns, eat meat, shoot off fireworks, play with fire. Yeah,
now,
it's always the same.
Ron doesn't want to clean his guns, so here, this is the closest thing to it. Yay!
Smells the same. Smells like sulfur.
But today, we did something completely non 4th of July related, actually. We did a makeup video, and we made the receipts from a book called The Toilet of Flora. The Toilet of Flora.
Toilet?
And the full title is The Toilet of Flora, or a collection of the most simple and approved methods for preparing baths, essences, pomatums, powders, perfumes, and sweet-scented waters, with receipts for cosmetics of every kind that can smooth and brighten the skin, give force to beauty, and take off the appearance of old age and decay. Wow, they really didn't beat around the bush.
No, they didn't.
Take off decay? Wow. But this is an absolutely amazing book.
Look how thick that thing is. That's an inch thick.
It's pretty thick. This is an amazing resource. We picked this up during our honeymoon in Virginia. This is a reprint, and it has everything in it, from how to make homemade face cleansers to homemade lotions to homemade perfumes, like bath salts that you put in your water. It also says how to take care of your hair, how to freshen up your breath, how to brush your teeth, how to make makeup and cosmetic products. I mean, how to dye your hair. It has everything in it. This is a really incredible resource, not only for historians.
That was published in London, right?
It was published in London, and we have the 1779 edition. And so I was saying it's not only a good resource for historians, but also for anyone that's into natural DIY skincare. And you mix the two together, which is exactly what I'm into, and this is one of the coolest books you can pick up, and it was only a couple dollars too.
That's from Williamsburg, right?
Yeah, we picked this up from Colonial Williamsburg, but if you look this up online, I'm sure you can find it from other places, reprints of it. And it's also available for free on Google Books online. They scanned it.
You know, I'm liking this new format. Are you guys liking this? We're not sweating. Actually, today is a blessing. It's only about 80 degrees.
Feels good.
How is that for the beginning of July?
Thank you.
That never happens.
No, it feels amazing out here.
I have not tried this. This is the lip
right.
balm, right?
Yes, that's what we would call it in modern day. We call it a lip balm, but in the book, it's called a yellow lip salve.
Looks like butter.
I would say that this is like homemade Vaseline. I mean, it really feels like Vaseline. Well, what do you think? And the quantity makes quite a lot. It's very economical.
It feels like chapstick.
Yeah. I mean, you can use this shirt on your lips, but I also imagine you can use it on the tip of your nose if it's chapped. You can use it on your fingernail cuticles.
Your knuckles, probably, if
they're dry.
Dry during the winter
yeah,
time.
maybe around your eyes, because around my eyes it gets really, really dry. I feel like you could just use this anywhere.
It's really soft. I mean, it's not greasy.
With Vaseline.
It's not greasy at all.
No, it's not.
Does that one have lard, or is that just beeswax and oil?
This is actually a vegetarian one. This is almond oil and beeswax. Those are literally the only two ingredients in here.
I quite like it, actually. It's not doesn't smell girly or nothing. And like I said, it's not greasy. I do not like greasy lotions or
No, I don't like
creams
greasy.
or anything. So that's soaked in, and I feel smooth.
Yeah, this is
Nice.
not greasy, and it has no fragrance at all. And the quantity that we made here, I mean,
It's a year supply.
this is like a year supply right here. And like I said, you don't have to just use this on your lips, but man, I will say I have to give credit to almond oil, because almond oil is like the most moisturizing oil I've ever found. And it was in just about every single skincare and hair care product in the 18th, early 19th centuries. They were obsessed with almond oil, and I see why. But I can't use it on my face. It gives me pimples like nothing else in the world.
Oh no.
It breaks me out like crazy. So unfortunately, I can't use half of the receipts in this book are for your face, and they almost always say to use almond oil mixed with other things. But
Dang.
for the lips, why not? Why not? It's good. And then something else that we made a tinted, I guess you could call it tinted lip balm. It's called a scarlet lip salve. Salve. And there's a whole bunch of different methods in this book for how to make it. And I chose the easiest way. I wanted a way that people at home could realistically try it. And some of the ingredients that are in this book, they used to be very common, but now it's very hard to get these ingredients. They're weird, exotic ingredients by modern standards. So I tried to find things that weren't so exotic.
What was the weirdest ingredient?
Okay, well, I just turned to a random page here, and it literally, the first line says, take goat suet.
Ugh.
Where do you get goat suet? I mean, where do you get this stuff? You know, back in the day, you could get this stuff anywhere, but nowadays, it's like, we just don't sell things like that anymore.
Who comes up with these concoctions? Who wakes up and says, I think I'm gonna try goat suet today. That might be really good on my lips.
Goat suet.
Why not just use cow suet, which you're already using in baking and stuff? What's so special about goat suet?
Goat
Or
suet.
is it just cheaper, or is it creamier?
Anyone out there, are you an expert in goat suet?
Ah.
Suet being the hard fat around an animal's kidneys. Why? Why? But so one of the receipts in this book mentions something called cochineal.
Cochineal.
Yep, and we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna tell you guys what it is, and I actually use it every single day. I wear two makeup products. I wear eyebrow powder and I wear rouge, and that's all I've worn for like the last 15 years. I'm not into heavy makeup, but my rouge has the cochineal in it. It's one of the best stuff ever. And it sounds really strange until you realize it's in just about everything today. It hasn't changed.
Can I tell them what it is?
Tell them what it is.
It's buds.
Bugs.
B-U-G-S. Buds.
Crushed up,
little buds.
dried bugs. I actually got it here. It don't look like crushed up dried bugs, but they're dried up, so you can't really tell what it is, I guess.
They look like little pebbles of purple.
They do look like little pebbles of purple. But you take a little bit, put it in your old mortar, and let's see if I can do this really quickly for you guys. Now, where is this stuff native to, this bug? It doesn't grow all over the world. It's actually really, really stubborn.
Is it Central America?
Yes, it is native to the Americas. So South America, Central America, and the Southwest United States.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for that is because the bug, it likes something called prickly pears.
Prickly pears. I've never ate one.
It looks like a cactus. I think it is a cactus, actually. And that cactus grows really well only in certain climates. And only the female bugs are what's harvested. Only the female bugs make that deep red color.
So I guess the males are a different color?
Well, so they have a very strange life, let me say.
Yeah, they're harvested for coloring.
Yes, that's weird in itself. But the female bugs, they'll latch onto a prickly pear, and then they just stay there, and they form a cocoon over themselves. Well, that makes them extremely vulnerable to predators, so they release a kind of acid to protect themselves from birds, because the birds don't like the taste of it, and that acid is red. It's a red color. So when you take the bug and you dry it, the red color comes out. So these are the females only. Might be a little hard to see. I just kind of like really quickly ground it up.
Oh, yeah.
I could have done a way better job than that, but makes a very nice red pigment that can be used for makeup and often is used for makeup.
Interesting.
It can be used for food. It's food grade. It can be used for paint for artists. It can be used for dyeing clothes.
Very interesting. So it takes thousands of buds to
Yeah, it does.
do anything.
It does. And before you say, "Oh my gosh, that's so disgusting," I would never.
You already have.
You already have. Okay, it's in a lot
M&Ms?
of products. Yes, it's.
Or it used to be.
It's what makes red M&Ms red. Now, in the United States, they recently got rid of it to replace it with synthetic dyes in the United States.
Boo.
But over in England, they still have the bugs for the M&Ms over there, over in England and in Europe. Skittles used to be colored with these bugs in the United States until 2015, and then again they switched it out for synthetic red dyes.
Why?
Why? Because it's cheaper and they want to kill us. I don't know what else
That's
to say.
insane.
Yeah.
I've actually heard stories of kids that are allergic to like, I don't know the numbers exactly, but like red number 7
Right,
or yellow
right.
number 2. If it has it in it, the kid has an allergic reaction. So
Yeah.
why even put that in food? Why not just use the natural stuff?
They used to.
It's put on the earth for us to use.
Yep. But you know, a lot of products do still have this ingredient in it. Even like high-end lipsticks and a lot of artists still use it in paint, and it hasn't gone completely away. In fact, it's still a $35 billion industry.
Whoa.
In 2024, $35 billion industry. So when you look at the back of the ingredient list of your M&Ms, it might not show up as cochineal. In fact, it probably won't. It'll probably show up either as carmine, natural red number 4, or E120. That's how it's listed in ingredient lists.
An E210.
E120. Sorry, E120. Natural red number 4 are carmine.
Okay.
Yeah, it never shows up just as a cochineal in the ingredient list. Now, I thought this was really interesting, like the history of the color red and how absolutely obsessed people are with the color red.
It's like the most expensive color. I mean, even cars. You want to buy a red car, or at least it used to be more expensive than the white car.
And our flag even has red in it. You know, there's actually a reason why we are red, white, and blue. So the white signifies purity, the blue signifies justice, and the red signifies valor and also the blood that was shed by our soldiers when they were defending our country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first colors that were ever named by humans were black, white, and red.
Black, white, and red.
Those are like the 3 earliest recognized colors. We're talking BC times, many, many thousands of years ago. Ancient Assyrians, ancient Persians.
Guess they're the easiest ones to make, maybe.
Yeah, actually, red can be made with a lot of natural dyes. Red is also one of the 3 primary colors, which is red, yellow, and blue. The first person to explain this was Sir Isaac Newton. He realized this after passing a beam of sunlight through a glass prism and seeing the spectrum of colors. Now, in every culture, red means something completely different. In the United States, red means passion. It means love.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, everything is red, pink, and white.
It also means stop or danger.
That's right, because it's
hot.
easy to see. It means hot. That's true. It means danger, or it means love. Wow, that's very poetic.
Also means red coat. British.
Both sides wore red.
Yeah, that's true.
We wore red, and they wore red.
They also had blue. We had blue.
Guess what the officers' coats were colored with?
The, what you call it? I can't pronounce
Cochineal.
032910.
That's right. So the red coats, the officers were dyed with cochineal-based dyes. Now, the lower-ranking soldiers were usually dyed with some kind of red herbal dye because it was cheaper.
Right.
But the officers, they got the nice, the most
more vibrant.
the vibrant red. In Western cultures, red is associated with love and passion. In Asian cultures, such as the Chinese culture, it's associated with good luck. In India, it represents purity, which is why a lot of brides will wear red saris on their wedding day. In the Revolutionary War, both sides wore red coats, and at the time, red represented strength and bravery. Maybe it just made him an easier target, though. I mean,
Yeah,
bright red.
It really highlights yourself when you're in the woods or something or out on the field. Oh, look, there he goes.
Nowadays, we wear camouflage. Back then, they didn't care at all
No,
about
actually,
camouflage, apparently.
You wear it so they can't see that you're wounded and they think you're immortal, but really you're bleeding out like 3 different holes, but they can't tell because you're red. I just made that up.
He just made that up.
That's not true.
So, cochineal comes from a very tiny, technically it's a parasitic bug because it feeds off of the prickly pear cactus. It sucks the nectar and the juice out of a prickly pear cactus until the cactus dies. It's the female that produces something called carminic acid. It acts as a natural form of insect repellent. It also tastes bad to other like birds and stuff, so they won't eat it.
It's their natural defense.
It's their natural defense, and it's this acid that turns them red when you dry them and grind them up. Now, cochineal, like I said earlier, it is naturally found in the Americas. Another thing from the Americas that didn't exist pre-European exploration. There was already a very large cochineal market in Aztec and Mayan cultures. They use it in their art, in their clothing, in their rituals. They would also trade with the beetles. After Hernando Cortez conquered the Aztec Empire, he sent a large shipment back to the Spanish king of as much cochineal as possible. At the time, he did not know what it was. At the time, he thought that it was actually a already known red dye that the Spanish had been using for centuries, which coincidentally was another beetle, something about bugs. They make red dye. So at the time, he didn't know that this is going to be eventually one of the biggest economic exports for the Spanish Empire. When the king got this, he was absolutely amazed by how easy it was to use this dye compared to what they were used to, and how vibrant this red dye was. It amazed the king. Spain began to produce and sell their own cochineal on Spanish soil. Most of Spain's cochineal derived from the New World. They had a very hard time growing it in Spain. Because the beetles did not like the climate there. They're very stubborn about where they want to live. The temperature has to be just right. The rain has to be just right. So, believe it or not, cochineal would be second only to silver as Spain's most valuable export from the New World.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Second to silver.
Second only to silver as their most valuable export from the New World.
They really like the color red.
They really like the color red. It was a very fashionable color, and now that I look around, we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
My
There's
bodice
red,
is
red,
red,
red.
the flag's red, this tablecloth is red.
There's red on here.
That's right. And if you look at fine art from the past, every time you see red or shades of red, like pink, if it's from the 18th century, 17th century, that's probably made with cochineal dye. So Spain actually started a monopoly of this cochineal because they were making a ton of money off of this dye, and they weren't about to let England or France or any other country take that from them.
Top secret.
It's top secret. Exactly. So they had a monopoly of this very valuable dye, and Spain tried to keep it a secret. So their ships that were carrying cochineal, they could only land at certain ports in Spain, and there was even a death sentence put on anyone who was smuggling cochineal.
Wow.
The export of live cochineal insects outside of the Spanish Empire was also strictly prohibited by law, and the reason for that is because Spain did not want the rest of the world to find out what this was. They were lying to people and saying that it was a plant. They told them it was a herb that you would soak in hot water and it made this beautiful red dye. No one could figure out what that plant was. Well, that's because it wasn't a plant.
Right.
It was a bug. Now, by the 18th century, some people did figure out what cochineal was. And that's because there were actually smugglers that would infiltrate these farms, and they would secretly go in the middle of the night and steal the cochineal and take it back. And sometimes they would even work at these farms, but the whole time they were just working for like a politician from another country so that they could figure out what it was. So by the 18th century, they knew what it was. But that doesn't matter, because the bugs are so picky about where they grow that you couldn't grow them in France or England. There has to be the right temperature, the right humidity, everything. They're very picky about it. So by the 1820s, Mexico and Guatemala broke away from Spanish control. This is where the majority of cochineal was grown. This meant that these countries could now independently control their own production of the very valuable cochineal. This was a huge blow to Spain's economy. So today, cochineal is a $35 billion industry. All over the world, it's being exported using cosmetics and dyes for clothing and paint. Anything, you name it, it's being used, and it's mostly produced in Guatemala and Mexico.
Well, thanks for that. I did not know it was that in depth.
And you didn't know that it used to be worth so much money.
No, or even today, 35 billion or million?
Billion.
With a B.
With a capital B. And you know what makes it so amazing for all of this is it has no taste and it has no smell.
Well, that's good, because nobody wants to taste or smell bugs.
Exactly, because you might be thinking, okay, well, how do they make the M&Ms not taste like absolute garbage if the coating is bugs? I don't know how, but somehow this has no taste to it. It's just coincidence, I guess. It has no taste.
I guess because maybe it's been cooked and dried out, so maybe all of the flavor juices are gone.
You know, that could be. And when I was looking through this book, I was very pleasantly surprised, yet not surprised at the same time, to see that there were absolutely no mentions of mercury anywhere in the book.
That's good.
Yes, because there is a hilarious myth that like everyone back then was walking around with mercury face paint and their teeth were all black and falling out, and like, I don't know, it's just like strange, unrealistic myths, like that everyone was an idiot back then. Now, they knew that mercury was bad for you even in this time period, but sometimes people were a little desperate and they didn't care anyway, because apparently it makes your skin, it gets rid of pimples or something.
It probably kills anything it gets on.
It probably does, but there's no mention of anything particularly dangerous in this book, just very hard to get ingredients. The only thing I found in this book that was dangerous is dyeing your hair black using lead powder.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, do not do that. I don't think that they quite knew how dangerous lead was yet.
Very interesting.
Well, thank you.
Well, this week we do not have a weird history fact. We have a whole sheet of
Weird history facts.
weird history facts. I mean, I wouldn't say they're weird. I'd say they're very unknown. I mean, maybe some of you guys will know some of these, but these are all regarding the Declaration of Independence. And let's see if you guys know any of them. So let's get into it.
This week's weirdest history facts.
Okay,
Go!
first fact number 1. On June 11th, Thomas Jefferson was appointed to a 5-man committee alongside John Adams of Massachusetts, Robert Sherman of Connecticut, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, and Robert Livingston of New York. They were charged with drafting a formal statement justifying the break with Great Britain, aka the Declaration of Independence. So, Thomas Jefferson did not write the Declaration of Independence by himself. There was 5 men.
So, random fact number 1.
Yes. So, we always say, oh, he's the author of the... I mean, I guess technically it is. He's the one that wrote it, but there was other people giving input, so they get the credit as well. On to the next fact. On July 2nd, Congress voted to declare independence. 2 days later, on the 4th, it was adopted by Congress, but it was not signed by anybody until August 2nd. So a whole month later is whenever somebody first signed it, and the first signer of it was...
John Hancock.
Yep, that's right. Here's another fact you might not know. There was 56 signers. The 56th signer did not sign it until the winter time of 1776. It's debated. I didn't give an exact date because it's debated. Some say November and some say January, so I'm just going to say winter of 76. The next one, there are 8 delegates of Congress that never signed it. They did not support it, so they never signed it.
They didn't support it.
And actually, one of the 5 men that were on the committee to draft it, Robert Livingston, did not sign the declaration.
Robert, I know who you are. We know what you did.
Now, he's not such a bad guy. I did a little more digging, and it turns out his state government, he was from New York, recalled him from Congress, so they brought him back to New York, so he was not able to sign it.
Oh, okay, Robert. Never mind.
So,
You're
so he really wasn't a bad guy, but
fine,
it
Robert.
just looks bad whenever you read, he didn't sign it, why didn't he sign it?
Oh, man, he missed his time to shine.
I know. Next, on July 19th, the Continental Congress ordered that the Declaration of Independence should be engrossed. That means written with the really fancy, they wanted it scribed.
Okay.
So the Declaration that you see today on display when you go to Washington, D.C. and look at it, it is the one that was done on July 19th by another man that you probably never heard of, Timothy Matlack. He was a clerk in the Pennsylvania State House, and he was the one that was tasked with scribing in that fancy script writing.
Was that in 1776 too, or another?
Yeah, that was in
Oh,
1776. And it's the really big version that he wrote. So the one that Thomas Jefferson wrote was probably on regular pieces of paper. So it was multiple pages, but this guy was to put it all on one big page.
That's incredible. I wonder if the original that he wrote still exists.
Thomas Jefferson?
Yes.
Yes, it does. There are actually 6 original drafts that are left today. I could not find out if there were more. All I could find from all the sites I seen was there are 6 that are accounted for, and I believe Monticello has them on their website in the Jefferson Papers archives or something like that.
Yeah, 6 is enough.
Yeah,
6
well,
is a
they
good
have the
number.
very first one that was done, and it has edits scratched in and scratched out by Thomas Jefferson, by Benjamin Franklin, and by John Adams. So you can see markings on there that Adams made and also Franklin made.
I wonder how nervous they were writing this, because they knew that they could have been dead
Oh,
from
yeah.
doing this. They could have.
That's treason.
It's treason. At the time, it was treason.
Yep. Now, the next little fact I have, Thomas Jefferson was not recognized as the principal author of the Declaration of Independence until the 1790s. And like I said, he was the one who was sitting there writing it, but the other ones were giving input. So originally it was a collective effort. Why they finally credited just him, I could not find a direct answer on that, so I'm not exactly sure why. Both Thomas and John passed away on the 50th anniversary of Congress adopting the Declaration of Independence on July 4th in 1826. And Thomas Jefferson died first and John Adams died last, I believe. And then the last one I have for is the movie National Treasure. You know how he's got the map? He's looking for the codes on the back for the map or whatever. There's no map on there, but there really is something written on the back of the Declaration, and it reads, Original Declaration of Independence dated 4th, 1776, which is not real, because the one that they're referring to is the one that is on display, which is the one that was written on July 19th by a different guy.
What?
So
you're saying they wrote that on there, even though that wasn't actually the date that they wrote that?
right, they wrote it like 2 weeks later. That the fancy scribe guy.
Okay.
So he wrote July 4th because that's whenever they adopted it.
Yeah, and that's why we celebrate our Independence Day on July 4th. And I think
Right.
a lot of people have forgotten what the 4th of July even is. Like, people just, some uneducated people, I gotta be frank, they think that 4th of July is just a celebrate America Day,
Pool party.
patriotism, whatever. Like, yeah, it is that too, but it's because it's the day that we declared our independence from England.
Yep,
It's our Independence Day. That's what it is.
that's right.
Like the hot dogs, the pool parties, yeah, that's how we celebrate too, but there's actually a reason why we celebrate it, and there's a reason we celebrate on the 4th of July. It's not just a random made-up number. That's when we actually declared publicly that we were trying to break away from England, which made some people real upset.
The following days after the 4th, they had a local printer print out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies to get it out to the public so the public could read it before it was ever even signed. Yeah. So that was pretty neat. I learned a bunch of stuff. I didn't know half of them things existed. I knew that it wasn't actually signed on the 4th, but I didn't know it went all the way till the winter time of people signing it, and I didn't know there were people that didn't sign it. and some other of the stuff I read had no idea about. So it was pretty cool to learn something. I'm always learning something. You guys are learning with us, or I'm learning with you, I should say.
We're learning with you.
Yeah.
When you said National Treasure, the movie with Nicolas Cage, it randomly made me think about when we went to Mount Vernon, and we asked one of the staff members there, okay, I don't gotta tell anyone else, are there really secret tunnels underneath Mount Vernon, like in the movie?
And she gave us a look.
She said no.
No.
She said no.
I thought she was gonna say, well, I can't tell you, but she just kind of did the no.
Oh, you're one of those people.
But
and they really filmed it there.
Yeah, they did, but they haven't fully excavated all of the underground, so could there be? Maybe, but maybe not.
Now, speaking of Mount Vernon, we went there for our honeymoon. That's George Washington's home.
Yes.
And you can see all of that footage of our really, really fun honeymoon and our wedding planning on the 4th of July. It's going to premiere as a mini-series on the website called Believe Plus. And we're going to link that in the description below. So that's coming out the 4th of July.
I believe it's only like $4. So that's cheaper than a cheeseburger. So if you want to see some really cool content, these guys did a very professional job. So
it was fun filming.
That's why we allowed them to film our wedding, because they wanted to come in and do a professional job, audio and video quality. It's top notch. It's something that we could not even do.
Right, and we actually couldn't afford a photographer for our wedding.
So we invited them to come and take care of this. So they have made a mini documentary series. It's 4 episodes. It airs on July 4th on BelievePlus.com. So please go over there to check it out. There's all kinds of little trailer teasers on Instagram and on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, and I believe they have an Instagram account as well. And there's a trailer on their website as well, I believe, like a preview.
Yep, that's right. So I'm really excited to see your guys' reaction to the show. I hope you like it. We've never done anything
I hope
like
I didn't say something I wasn't supposed to, because I haven't seen the final cut yet.
No.
I won't see it till it goes out tomorrow.
Yeah, we haven't even seen it yet.
Tomorrow, we've seen the teasers, and they've asked us some questions on a couple of clips, but we have not seen the thing in its entirety yet. So tomorrow is the big day, July 4th. Not only for America, but also see our wedding finally, because I'm dying to see it.
Yeah, Ron's dad said we should get together and have like a barbecue party. It's the 4th of July anyway, so we will anyway, but he said let's have a viewing party of it, because we've never seen it before either, so that's going to be really, really fun.
Oh, yes. And don't forget, 2 days after the 4th of July, on July 6th, we're having the Independence Day celebration here in St. Genevieve. It's on Saturday. It's in the backyard of the Bolduc House, right where the wedding was held. So if you're looking for something free and fun to do, come on down. We have a ginormous cake that's like this big. It says Happy 248th birthday.
And you paid for that out of your own pocket.
Yeah, and the decorations. But anyways, we got a big cake. Justine's gonna cut it with the sword. We got drum and fife coming. We're gonna do musical performances. We got Justine's best friend, Anna Riplinger, who's gonna sing the national anthem. She's in a professional choir. She has the voice of an angel. No offense.
I have the voice of Satan.
No. Your voice is very good, but I've not heard you sing in a public setting. We've seen her. We went to one of her friends' concerts about 2 months ago, and it was a cappella in a big church cathedral, and it was the most beautiful thing I ever heard in my life.
We got shivers.
I shivered. It sent shockwaves to me whenever the high notes were hit. And Anna is a soprano, and it was like break glass. I got chill bumps under this coat right now thinking about it.
There was a whole group of people singing with her, men and women.
There was probably 30 people.
Yes, and it sounded like what you would hear as you were going up to the gates of heaven. Let me put it that way. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And some of the songs were very old, like hundreds of years old.
Oh, yeah, like 1500s and 1600s. It was amazing. So she's going to be there. She's going to sing the national anthem for us. We're going to read the Declaration of Independence. We're going to parade around the historic square. And I think that's just about it. Yeah,
so please come and join us on July 6th. What time should we all meet up?
I would meet there, if you're wanting to participate, I would get there no later than 11:45, and bring a flag if you want to march with us. And if you don't have a flag, we have some little ones, but bring a flag if you can. The more the better.
No flag, no service? No, I'm kidding.
No.
You can come, whatever. It's fine. We're just glad that you're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You told me recently you want me to cut the cake with a sword. I'm thinking,
why not?
Okay, that sounds like something from a kung fu movie, but I can do that.
I cut our wedding cake with George Washington's sword, which you guys are gonna get to see. I think they put that in the episode.
Miniseries.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's where I got the idea from.
Right. I wanted to have. Okay, so Ron paid for the cake himself, but I really wanted to make like hot dogs for everybody and just give it to people for free. So like 100, 200 hot dogs and just barbecue them right there. And I even got the money together for it, a couple $100. But then our septic tank happened. And now I realized we're broke. And so the hot dogs might have to wait till next year. I'm sorry.
So you guys remember the house build? We were digging the basement out for the foundation. We hit solid granite 5 foot down in the ground.
We're doing it ourselves. We were quoted $10,000 to have our septic tank put in.
Yep.
That's a no.
So once we dug down 5 foot, we still had more. We had another 1.5 feet to go, and we hit solid granite. And all we had was a jackhammer and the little tiniest mini excavator that Lowe's rents, and it did the best it could, but we just couldn't get through it, and we were beat. It was 100 degrees out, and there was 4 of us working on it from sun up to sundown, and we gave up. And so somebody's coming out tomorrow. I'm going to meet with them and see what they have to say about it. I'm hoping they give us a good deal. At bare minimum, I'm just going to have them bust up the rock, and then I'll clean it out with a shovel, and then we'll go back to doing it ourselves the rest of the job. But if they give us a fair price, I might just have them finish the whole job, which includes setting the tank in and digging the lines for the drain field as well, which that part does not have any rock in it because that doesn't have to go as deep. But the tank, it has to get down low enough to where the inlet pipe on the tank matches the pipe coming out of the house. So it has to go in the ground pretty deep because the pipe that's coming out of the house is already under the ground 16 inches. So you're going down, 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 down.
When we were putting that tank in, I looked at Ron and I said, why are we doing this? Why aren't we Amish?
Yeah,
Why don't we just have an outhouse?
I mean, there's a big enough hole there now. You can build a subfloor and have a nice...
A 3-seater.
Yeah, and then just have a hatch at the back and have the guy come pump it out once a year. So
well,
I mean,
we already bought the toilets and the bathtubs. So...
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically you can use them. They can go in that hole, and then the guy can just come and pump out the hole.
How would a bathtub work without a septic tank? Can you have a bathtub without a septic tank?
Yeah, I mean the water would just fill in the hole, and then once the hole gets filled up enough, you'd have to empty it out.
You know, that's Plan B.
Should have just ran a straight pipe. If I owned enough land, I would have done it.
Oh yeah, and it would smell like poop everywhere.
I don't care. I would have ran it 100 feet through the woods where I'd never see it.
Does a bear poop in the woods? Yes. And do we? Yes. Until this septic tank is in. So yeah, we were quoted $10,000 to have a septic tank put in. We said no to the no.
Nope.
And we got all the stuff. We rented out a mini excavator. We rented out a jackhammer for
got all
a total
the pipes, all the pieces to connect it, and got all that for
$2,000.
Right about $2,000.
Yeah, $2,000. Now that's a discount, and we would have gotten it done probably by 2 to 3 in the afternoon if it wasn't for that stinking granite.
Yeah.
That rock ruined everything.
It took us 6 hours to go through. I think we went through like 6 inches. It's like an inch an hour, and it's only a hole that's 12 foot long by 6 foot wide. But it's so hard, and that was the biggest jackhammer they had. It was like a 70-pounder. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that was like $100 to rent for 24 hours, and the mini excavator was about $320 to rent for 24 hours. So...
And we had to bug my dad to get him to bring his big truck because Lowe's only lets you rent their equipment if you have a 3/4 ton truck. Mine's a 1/2 ton, so I can't do it. So he has to take time to come and then haul it out for us and then take it back. So it's a lot of stress on everybody right now.
So I've been calculating my finances, and we have to pinch pennies for the sake of this septic tank.
So no hot dogs.
No hot dogs.
But and it's free, and there'll be ice cold water at the event as well.
I mean, seriously, like I will be down to the dollar.
Yeah.
Once I pay this guy, because the guy that we're asking to come here, he actually has like a jackhammer attached to an excavator. You need hardcore equipment to get through a foot of granite. We made it through about 13 inches ourselves, but then there's a foot left, and it was like 7 p.m. at night, and we measured it, and it said there was a foot left, and we said, I give up. Can't do it. We've been jackhammering this for 8 hours now.
And we can't blast it because it's only 15 foot from the house, so we can't blast it.
No dynamite. It's not an option.
No. So stay tuned for next week. We'll give you an update on that. If you remember, you guys seen the little video that we did.
Yeah. Made a 5-minute video.
Yeah, just a little 5-minute video.
Showing us suffering.
Yes. Well, I think that's all we got. I kind of want to go to the fireworks stand. I haven't bought fireworks in a while, and after doing that for the opening, the little party poppers, I really want to go get some fireworks and light them off.
Let's go in these clothes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We love having you here. Maybe we'll see you on July 6th if you come down to St. Genevieve. So. We look forward to it. Take care. God bless you all. See you later.
And God bless America. Bye-bye.